Hello, you must have heard Dr. Craig say that God created time. God created the universe, God created everything, among other things, time. And God never began to exist. In order to prove that the universe must have had a beginning, Dr. Craig says that the number of events cannot reach infinity. That is why the universe has not always existed. But if God did not begin to exist and he created the universe, this is a change. So God must have had thoughts. One of them, I will create a universe. If God has had thoughts and never began to exist, those thoughts, the number of those thoughts, has reached an infinity, and that is impossible, according to Dr. Craig, because this leads to paradoxes. In order to answer this objection, Dr. Craig says the following.
And I came across Dr. Craig's essay to Grunbaum, where he states, very well, suppose that God led up to creation by counting 1, 2, 3, fiat, lux. In that case, the series of mental events alone is sufficient to establish a temporal succession prior to the commencement of physical time.
Physical time, Dr. Craig? Time is not a physical thing. You cannot touch it, you cannot see it.
Surely, Dr. Craig, you have just conceded that an actual infinity does exist?
Hardly. On my proposed thought experiment, God would begin counting at some point. So no, I've in no way suggested that God could count down all the negative numbers to arrive at zero sequentially. On the contrary, I've argued that's impossible. So what I'm imagining here is a finite series of mental events that precede the commencement of the physical creation.
If God began to count, when did he begin to count? Is he still counting? That means a succession of thoughts means time. So God existed in time. That's what he is saying. God existed in time, and still he created time. This is a contradiction. I will put this in a syllogism. God was having thoughts in time. God created time. Conclusion, this is not possible. It amounts to the following. God equal to God has thoughts in time. God equal to God creates time. One of the basic rules in philosophy, in logic, is that A cannot be A and not A. So, what I just said, God is thinking in time, and God equals God creating time, is not possible, because God cannot be God thinking in time and God not thinking in time, because he hasn't created time yet. Or you can take the other one. God creates time and God is thinking in time. God cannot have created time if God was thinking in time. Yet in a few seconds, Dr. Craig says the following.
I don't see any problem in thinking of a timeless being who has all his knowledge at once, so to speak, rather than sequentially. So I'm not persuaded that personhood is incompatible with timelessness.
No, that is not possible, because you cannot have a jumble of thoughts all on top of each other. If you count numbers, the thought 1 must be followed by the thought 2. They cannot exist together, because when you think 1, you're not thinking 2. The basic rule in logic, A cannot equal A and not A. So the thought 1 cannot equal 1, the thought 1, and the thought 2. So, these thoughts cannot exist at and the same time. So, personhood is contradictory to timelessness. I think there are two possibilities. Either Dr. Craig is a very confused person and doesn't know what to think and thinks contradictory thoughts in different times, or Dr. Craig is lying. Bye.